Hello, welcome to the Reasonably Effective podcast brought to you by myself and Uncommon Fossil. That is, I'm trying to remember my name here. And 10 Types, who is feeling under the weather. He feels like a dog's drug him around the backyard for a couple hours. He might sound that way and he might pass out during the podcast, but how's it going?
Yeah, it's going so well. I'm not feeling that bad. I'm feeling a little under. I wasn't feeling great yesterday, but today I'm doing all right. And I'm running a tournament. Maybe not. People aren't playing in it, so we'll see. But if you're watching, I'm also live streaming this. And if you're in the live stream at after the podcast, I'll be doing that in Mutant Standard again, just through Discord. Because Limitless, I did let Limitless last time. It's fine, but um, I don't know. I feel like through Discord is just simpler. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about. Well, you want to introduce it?
Yeah, what I've been doing lately this week, some is I've been going through my videos first just to see what videos are popular, but then taking a look at what decks. Most of my videos are decks, and what decks I like. Going through the whatever like 400 videos, getting the decks I like, and just to get a sense of that. So, and obviously with the rotation coming up, part of it is want to play those things that are going to rotate that I'm going to lose that I like, and also just get a sense of the decks I like. So the thought is, what are we going to miss with rotation? And I've identified 3 cards, and I've identified 3 decks that I like that will be significantly impacted by this loss. For me, just broadly speaking, the big things in rotation aren't specific cards or decks, aren't specific Pokemon. I mean, or decks, a deck, but things that are more broad, more general. So it's engines are a big deal, but we're not really losing engines. A year ago, obviously, like the Intelligent Engine was huge, and that was game changing there. But not really engines this time. But then it's trainers. There's a lot of good trainers that we're losing that I think I'm going to miss that haven't gotten as much attention that I don't think are replaceable, that are going to probably sink some decks where the Pokemon don't rotate, but some trainers go, and I think the decks aren't going to work.
Yeah, and then I also have some cards. I also have. Oh yes, is it 3 cards? Yeah, I have 3 cards. That I think are interesting. One of which I think is underplayed. One of which is a really fun
Hmm.
card. And a third card. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Way to build the suspense there. So,
Yeah,
uh,
because I couldn't really think of anything good to say about. No, it's a cool card, but that also has some synergy with new cards. Because
yeah.
I was looking at because I obviously make YouTube videos. We both do, but I like
Yep.
to make videos when the new set drops. Oops. And so I do that, and so I obviously look at the new set and what it has.
Right.
And this new set was terrible, pretty bad. It was a mini set, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah. I
So
mean, it's a special set, so you need to understand that.
yeah, I do, but so I was looking, and there's this one deck. I didn't actually make the deck yet. I think it was actually glitched as well. Not
What's
no,
that? The grass deck,
yeah,
which is what is it again? Is it yeah? What's the grass Pokemon again?
jump off.
The new one?
Oh, Espathra.
A Spath, or
No,
I'm just trying to think.
Espathra works. Espathra's good. Espathra's pretty good. Um,
And I pulled 3 copies, so now I need to give that a go.
yeah, I decided
Um,
I might not. I haven't opened any packs of the new set. I think I might do the whole ladder and then open them all at the end. I don't know
the big
though.
reveal. Okay, you're gonna. I mean, since you don't need to craft much, it's not a bad time to do it,
Yeah, I
right?
haven't like recorded a lot. I haven't played a lot of live recently though.
Yeah. Look, now I do think if you're going to get to the end of the battle pass, you better get going because you're now down to you're on the grind. You're down to 6 weeks, 4 days. So how many days is that? 6 times 7 is what,
That's like
42,
40. Yes,
forty-eight.
that's
So
getting
you've got
close.
to now do more than a tier a day, or you're not going to finish it.
Yeah,
Just
that's fine though.
be
So I
aware.
guess I gotta get on the grind. Um,
Yep.
yay.
So
No, it'll be fun.
now the other card is TM Crisis Punch, makes cast form not horrible, is what I'll say.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
That's probably the best deck it's in. I know people think Lost Zone and stuff,
But you're like,
or
no, Lost Zone's bad. I don't know if like
well,
cast
Lost
form.
Zone's really good anyway. It may make it a little better, but Lost Zone's very good. Okay, it's not like it's going to make it. If it makes it 1% better, that'd be a lot for a deck like that, right?
I guess,
Just
yeah.
because it's so good, and you talk about Radiant Charizard going on again. But Radiant Charizard is very good anyway, so it bumps it up a little bit. But
Yeah.
cast form needs everything it can get. But anyway, you don't want to talk cast form, although that's rotating. right?
Yeah,
And
I
that
know.
is one
And
of my
you have two cards that help cast form. Starting with the Rescue Carrier, right? So why do you like Rescue Carrier?
Yeah, I took a look at the deck. Rescue Carrier is very important. Rescue Carrier, all right, so what does it do? Let me just read the exact text here. It does. It's an item, so you can play more than one a turn. Whereas a supporter like Clara does part of this, but it's your supporter. So Rescue Carrier put up to 2 Pokemon, each with 90 HP or less, from your discard pile into your deck. So look, I like
Hand, into
single
your
price
hand,
into your hand. I apologize. Right,
which
into
is
your hand,
better.
which is very right. It's much better. It's very important. So a lot of decks. I like decks with single prize low HP. Ditto for one, which is one of the things I'll talk about, and such as that. In the single prize
Ditto, which copies
attacker,
from Pokemon Go, right?
correct, yes. And other things like Lunatone Soul Rock. Let's say you have these 90 HP basics out there, and I love these 90 HP basic decks. I really do. They're getting knocked out all the time. That's the way that they run. So you gotta with one card you get two back into hand. That's good. Rescue, you can put it into the deck with Rod and then get it back with something, but that's a lot more pieces to get happening. So it's very good to get these cards back in hand. And even again, like curly engines don't use it generally, but if that's getting knocked out again, it's just very good. And getting into hand is better than on to the bench because one of the cards that does some of this is the Buddy Poppin. Even more so, the other card is Level Ball, was my other item card, which again is 90 HP, so that I'm living in that range. But it goes one card from deck into hand. Buddy Poffin goes in the bench, which sometimes is good, but sometimes it's bad, and it only goes up to 70 HP, and those are big differences.
Well, yeah, but Buddy Poffin also is. I mean, it gets two cards.
It is.
They're different, but
It is that, but the idea that it replaces it. These there's three specific decks that run all three of these cards. That Buddy Poffin is garbage in all of them. It's not doesn't come.
what are
It
what are these
provides.
what are these decks?
Well, one is Lunatone Soul Rock, and Buddy Poffin gets no cards
Okay, well,
for
yeah,
you.
that's fine. Yeah, but
One is Ditto Box, which I'm not sure if that gets any cards or
doesn't
not.
that get Ditto?
It does get Ditto, but you have to get it after it's knocked out. You have to get it from the discard into the deck, and then so you need a Rod and a Buddy Poffin, right? And that's not
Yeah,
ideal.
yeah, that's fine.
And then the other is Dodrio Pupitar, which is a super fun deck.
That
Super fun
seems
deck
like
where
I
you're
feel
damaging yourself all the
do you
time.
ever play against Lost Zone? Like,
Well, all right, look. Most of these decks you can't. You just look. You play them on the ladder. You see Lost Zone. You scoop. Look, you can obviously you can put Radiant Jirachi, especially this Dojo Pupitar deck, because you're just putting massive damage on all of your Pokemon, right?
you need like
Um,
Manaphy and Radiant Jirachi. You're
you
gonna knock
do.
out your Manaphy and Radiant Jirachi. They're gonna die. You're gonna not
You
gonna
got to be
help.
careful about that too. What's Jirachi's HP now? I'm trying
It's
to remember.
70. They're both 70.
Se-
So
70s,
Buddy
which
Poffin.
helps a lot. You could, but you need if they get knocked out, you got to rescue him because you got to get them back and play immediately. Like if you're up against Lost Zone with a lot of these decks, you just lose. And that's all I can see. I get you that, but in rescue in Lost Zone's good, but there's a lot of decks out there, so you can take a loss against a deck and live with it. At least I can.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Uh,
you don't approve.
no, I don't know. I like Lost Zone. It's very good. Um,
It is very good. Look, it's good, and it's just all. It's going to be good till it rotates. I gotta imagine.
yeah. But anyway, so is that it for like Love Ball Rescue Carrier?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about these actual decks some or not. Maybe it sounds like you don't want to.
I don't know. What was it? Lunatone Solrock?
Yeah, that one's boring. The Ditto Box and Dojo Pupitar. They're
Yeah.
fun
So
decks to
Dojo
play.
Pupitar is.
Now
Wait,
this is
what's
the Pupitar
Pupitar?
from. See, what
How
is it?
much does it
It's
do?
from.
Doesn't it like not do very much?
It does 20 damage to your
Yeah.
opponent, and then
Isn't there
20
like
damage to each of your bench Pokemon. That's the you don't you want to damage your bench. It's the best attacker to damage your bench in the
what
game.
about no, what about Steelix
Well, hang on.
from
Hang on.
yeah, no, this card's definitely better.
No, hang on. Let me take a look.
Because
If I can make this deck better, I will. Steelix from
Paradox Rift. I'll get it here. So it has 180
Okay.
HP. It does have
Yeah.
floor treat, which isn't ideal,
I
but
need I need metal energy. That I don't like with this deck. I mean,
yeah.
I could do that though. I could drop that instead of P-Power. Go ahead.
Because what energy do you use now? Well, you don't need a specific type.
Well, I play fighting, so I can attack with the other attack, and I play a water because I play in water because I play Mana Fee, so
Okay,
I can now
but those aren't like
I can.
good.
They're not.
Which is
I
fine.
grant you that.
That's the best type to play
So if I
because
did the Steelix, all right, I'll make a note of that. The
did you
Steelix.
pull it up?
Yeah, so 180. Now, of course, it ruins my whole level. Let me see. I can't get into. Yeah, I can get it with Ultra Ball. I can get it with
It
that.
does 130. It does 110 more damage. It does like
Wait, oops, I lost the Pokemon again. All right,
it does
it
it does
does 130.
650%, or no, what is it? 550% more damage. It's better.
Yeah, no,
And you damage yourself more, which is actually good.
yeah. Now, man, it's interesting that when you play the Dojo Pupitar, one of the issues is you can't damage yourself too much or you lose the game.
Well, yeah, but you
Uh,
don't need to attack with this as much.
yeah, usually you only attack once with the Pupitar anyway, so you can attack once with this. Now the problem is if they don't knock it out, I probably can't. I don't know if it's going to be very scary to attack a second time with it,
Do you run
right?
what's the damage pump?
I do not know.
That could be
Let me double.
useful.
Yeah, no, I'm in Gape Jaw Bog, but that's it for that type of thing. Because the Dojo obviously damages itself.
Yeah, well, damage pump also is like healing though.
Right, I can heal off the Manaphy or the Jirachi if I played that, which I don't. I just take the L there.
Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like Steelix is better than
Maybe.
yeah, it's different,
Uh,
but
I'll have to take a look at it. I appreciate that. I have to change up the energies.
and then you
Let's
could
take a
put in Scyther or Scissor as well, which I think Scissor is really good. That
yes.
does more for each like ability in play your opponent has in play.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to play Zoroark box then. That's what you're going to talk me into next,
exactly.
which is
I was like, oh, I could talk about Zorak. Um, I didn't. Or we won't really, but it's you know.
all the content creators are doing Zoroark videos this last week. If you
Oh,
noticed,
I
because of the new
didn't.
cards. Because I was right. Like the best card is the what Camerupt or what is it called?
Uh,
The fire one.
yeah, is that right? I think that's right.
What
Yeah.
is like a camel with a
Oh, it's like erupting. It's a volcano.
yeah.
Yeah, so camera up, which is fine. I mean, it's not like that good.
It might be the best card from the set
No, I
though.
don't think it's the best good. I think Espathra is better.
It might be.
Um,
I don't know.
I think
So
Atticus is
and
better, but not right now. Um,
so you dumped on the Dodrio Pupitar deck. That's fine. The Ditto box is another good deck. So see if you hate that one. Let me find Ditto box, which I just revised. I don't
and can
think
you
the
send me
videos.
the list as well? Like the new list.
Yeah, I will put it into Discord.
Yeah, then I can show everyone. Although it's a podcast, so if you're listening on a podcast, you can't see. But
Right.
subscribe to
Obviously, they can.
YouTube to solve that. No, no, we'll talk about it. But I also want to see it because I don't know.
Yeah, I streamlined it before. I had a couple other attacking options. I just uploaded it, so I had yeah, two other attackers. One the Plusle that boost damage, and I had another something, and I realized these were the main attackers, so I kind of simplified the deck to make it work better. Kind of a Ditto box. Ditto's not rotating, but Ditto gets hurt a lot by losing these cards, right? It's 70 HP. As you said, Buddy Poffin helps with Ditto as well, right? You get two right into play, which is good. For sure. So it plays three Dittos, two Dondozos, right, which pairs with four Tatsugiris. That's the attacking option. You'd rather attack with Dondozo than Ditto because it's got more HP. So you just need one DTE to attack with that. 50 per Tatsugiri in the discard pile. The Tatsugiri from Paradox Rift that you can use survival strategy to search your deck for any two cards is a nice little option in the deck. One Mawile
Oh,
for
and sorry,
stalling.
after Tatsugiri, you then switch to the bench, and you have Mimikyu to wall as well. So that's a combo there.
Right. It's a tricky question about that one. And I was doing that more initially, but now I'm leaving the Tatsugiri there because I want it to go in the discard pile.
Oh yeah, if you're copying Tatsugi with Ditto, you probably want to go back into Mimikyu.
Right, but yeah, you have Mimikyu for the walling, so the deck plays Psychic and cut DTEs. Then you have Mawile again, which you can attack with directly or with Ditto, right? With Tempting Trap, and I can attack with the other attack Bite, but I don't know if I've ever done that,
Do you
but it's an
tempting
option.
trap into like a damaging attack? Like do you
Uh,
tempting trap into release rage?
Not really. It's always in my mind. Usually, um, honestly, Mimikyu and Mawile is mostly how the deck wins. The Dondozo attacks are usually the third important most of the attacks in terms of value.
So Mawile
But
like for trapping and then just like stalling
yeah,
them to win.
I mean, excuse me, having a little coughing fit here. The Mawile is best late game though, after they've run through their switching cards more so. So a lot of times Mimikyu to slow them down, or Dodri or the Dondozos get some damage, get them into that defense, into that attack mode, gets them vulnerable to Mawile a lot of times.
Yeah. And Mawile's an interesting card because you can tack it into not control. Obviously, it's very good in control. Um,
Right.
you can run it in all
So
sorts of things though.
right. So the deck is that combination of damage on a single prize Pokemon that can do a single prize basic that can do 180 with it one DTE attached as long as you get 4 Tatsugiras in the discard pile. Now you're usually not getting 4, but getting 3 is okay. That's not horrible to get set up with 3. And it's got 160 HP, so that's nice if it's the one you're attacking with. And then the Mimikyu, which is still very effective in a lot of matchups, even though they get around it, they have to burn up their bosses and whatnot. So it helps a lot. And the Mawile, of course, it's a nice little set of options there. And I used to have the Mewtwo in the deck as well.
Which Mewtwo?
From 151 from
Oh,
yeah, from 151.
that like hits
And that
back or
yeah, it's
whatever.
got a rebound, whatever it is. Whatever damage it does to you, your opponent does to you, you do back to your attacker. And I did get some value out of it, but not that often, so I
Yeah,
decided to
obviously they
cut
can
it.
like boss or even rope around it, and then
Right.
you lose a lot of value there.
You do, but again, it's a single prize deck, so they get around it for one turn and get one prize. They still have to do it like 4 or 5 more times, right? So that's part of it. They can get around your pieces, but can they get work with it enough time, right? A single prize deck, as long as your bench is staying safe, right? That's always a big issue. The bench is very vulnerable here.
Yeah,
And again, lost zone is horrible.
yeah, that seems not so good for this. But I mean, Dondoso is actually okay against it with the high HP, um,
Right.
which you can recover with the rescue carrier. Oh wait, you can't do that.
Yeah, do I play? I do play 2 Rod, so I can get it back that
But
way.
what's
I still
Professor
play.
Taro's scenario for, and why isn't it Penny?
Is Penny better
Well, that
with this?
gets it back into your hand, all the attached cards.
Yeah, I guess Penny's any basic, right?
Yeah, because your deck's all basics, unless you
Yeah,
want
I
to
guess I
discard.
no, yeah, I should play Penny instead. You're right. I
What's
mean,
that
it's
for?
Tatsugiri mainly,
Okay, if you have to like start it and you need it in the discard.
right? Or a lot of times you attack and it's sitting there, right? And you don't want it, or you switch. Yeah, you attack, you run to the bench, set up the Mimikyu, get rid of the Tatsugiri the following turn, something like
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh. But I definitely think
Um,
Mimikyu is like an underplayed card. It's really good. Um, it's also mostly played in control where you can't even attack with it, but its attacks, it's not very that good of an attack, but um, it's like it's really hard to deal with. Or it's not really hard to deal with, but it's like annoying to deal with for some decks.
yeah,
And then as you said, it like kind of causes them to do things that they're not really normally doing, possibly stretching their resources too thin, leading to them being vulnerable to other types of like attacks, like trapping or something like that.
right. I mean, if they play rope in the deck, they're more likely to play to use up a rope, which of course makes the Mawile more effective. Or they're playing bosses, and again, basically decks will play 2 or 3 boss, and that's usually about it. A lot of decks don't play Pal Pad, so they can only get around it so many times. I
Yeah,
do,
most decks can
I do,
hit it, like can knock it out with something, but that something is like a Excalibur or like a um
right, a Zapdos or something, right? Like a lightning, whatever. the basic lightning pivot, something like that.
Oh yeah.
And what's important is it's really good against against Charizard Pidgeot, right?
Yeah,
Because
they actually probably going with Charmeleon, which isn't very
if they
good.
if they play it
Yeah, most of us run one Charmeleon. Um,
right, and then they one shot you, and you don't one shot them,
Actually,
but
the new
then
Charmeleon. Well, no. So there's different. The new Charmeleon only does 50 for two.
the one that is immune to what effects?
Oh, but that means they're immune to Mimikyu. Okay. So that's actually worse for you.
Oh, effects of attacks.
Yeah.
Yes, so
There's
you
some
need to
different
attack with something
Charmeleons.
else,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
Like the old there's ones that do 70 for two.
Yeah, but that damages itself 20, so then you'll KO with a Mimikyu of your own. There are some interesting dynamics there overall.
Right, and they probably only play one Charmeleon. Some decks don't play any, or it can be prized too, and they don't have a way to dig it out of the prizes. Um, I mean, I played this deck. What's my gusting options here? Oh, two counter catcher. I dropped in a boss, which I didn't play before, and a pal pad. So I remember one Charizard player where they kept, I got the Mimikyu set up, and I just hit like counter catcher. They got down the Charmander energy, counter catcher, boom, knock it out. Because I got was behind like 3 or 4 prizes, and then they got another turn, next Charmander back, energy, counter catcher, boom, knocked it out, boss. I think I did it 3 times in a row, so it was a nice feeling.
For you,
As they,
as they
yes, oh, it
tried.
was horrible for them. Oh, yes, I don't remember if they conceded or not. I obviously wouldn't have blamed them for doing it because it was just horrible from their perspective. What it just streamed perfectly there. So
Yeah. Speaking of prizes, I want to talk about my card.
yes,
One of my cards, Peonia. Peonia is a really interesting supporter. That in my opinion is underplayed and really hard to use. That's why it's. Or I don't know if I'd say it's kind of under. It's mostly played control or
right.
decks that have like lots of one ofs, mostly control, but then like V Union next. Um,
Right, V Union occasionally. Like I'm trying to think, like when Tor did his early Urshifu deck. That was feels like ages
oh
ago
yeah,
with
with
Mimikyu.
Inteleon when it was searchable, then it was more played because
Right,
one you do have a decent amount of one ofs, and also you have the
right,
ability to get Peonia whenever you want.
right.
But so I'm going fossil. Are you familiar with Town Map? I imagine most people watching this are, but
Yeah, that's the stadium is correct. Does it turn up all your prize
it's
cards,
an
or
item,
it's an
but
item?
yeah, you play turns up all your prize cards. And we've seen various cards like that. Um, and so obviously that gives you access to all your prizes, right? Or you see all your prizes.
Right, and of course, so does your opponent, which is
Yeah.
obviously a major downside to
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, and so there's a card, well, Alf, was it Alf? Or is it Al? I think it's Alf Lithograph. I can't speak. Alf
Oh,
Lithograph.
ALPH.
Yeah, I think that's what I don't remember. Alf Lithograph. Um, 3. I don't know if they might have all had the same name. But there
This is
is
not in the game at all, correct?
no, this is
Okay,
not.
it's old. It's older than even standard than the full expanded.
Yeah, so this is Alf Lithograph. No, was it Alf? I keep saying it like uh, what is it? Alf Lithograph. And so it says look at all your face down prize cards with actually an exclamation point as well. Um, so that's so fun. But so there's a card like that in standard. Maybe what's it? Daisy's Help from 151. It's not as good. Well, I know it's different. I'd say it's worse, but it's a supporter. Draw 2 cards. Look at your face down prize cards. Um, and Peonia only works with so that like you see your prize cards, right? Um,
So wait, so tell me that new card again.
Daisy's Help. Draw 2 cards. So from 151, draw 2 cards. Look at
Okay,
your face down prize cards. Um,
what's it called? Oh, Daisy.
Daisy's Help. Yeah. Um,
Okay, okay,
So, and obviously with Peonia, then you can get exactly 3 prize cards. So now you know presumably what all your prize cards are.
right,
Um, and so you can use Peonia, and you take the exact 3 that you want. You have some cards in your hand, let's say like 4. That's pretty common. And then you put
yeah,
like some back, and you get exactly the hand and the prizes that you want. Of course, that is across 2 supporters, which aren't
right,
specifically Daisy's Help isn't super powerful. I mean, it's draw 2, which is kind of bad. But
right.
at the same time, it also like um then you have Peonia. You can run like a bunch of Peonias, and you can manipulate your prizes. And every time you take a KO, you know exactly which card off the prize you're getting. You can put cards into your prizes that you don't want, or cards that you want later. And so you have a lot of versatility with that. And same thing with Peonia. I think Peonia, a lot of people just view Peonia as if I get bad prizing, I can take
Hmm.
cards out of my prizes, right?
Yeah, I mean that, and again, it's like V unions or control decks, right? Is
Yeah,
what
but
plays
still
it.
bad
Durant,
prizing with those decks.
correct, right? And I played a number of Durant Mill decks, so you play it in that because you're not taking prizes again, and you got to get all those Durants into hand.
Yeah. Um, and so the idea there obviously is that Peonia gets that stuff, but then you can have issues because it could miss. We have Hitsu and Heavy Ball as well, but they're different. Hitsu and
Right.
Heavy Ball just takes stuff out of the prizes, right? It's not
Hmm.
like it gives you. It kind of does give you prize knowledge if you don't check, but you don't know where any of them
Right.
are. Peonia, you know where your prizes are. You know exactly where three. Assuming you have six prizes left, you
Hmm.
know exactly three of them are. And then you know the other three what they are, assuming you prize checked. Of course, you don't
Hmm.
necessarily do that, but let's just say you do. And now you know what those three are, and you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting the one you want. And I think prize checking, a lot of people use it, and I don't always prize check, and it's kind of annoying. But if you know exactly what your
Yeah.
six prizes are, you can kind of have like if you just draw a random card from the top of your deck, it could be like anything. I mean, it can't be anything, but it could be a wide variety of things.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really ever bet on it being a certain card. But then with Peonia, like taking a prize card, you can
Hmm.
say, oh, it's going to be one of these six cards, and then you can have really good knowledge, be able to make good plays from that. But now with Daisy's help, you can combo with Peonia, and then just have like
Hmm.
really insane control of your prizes.
Yeah. Obviously, you're burning your supporter for turn, so that's which is a big price to pay,
Yeah, but
right?
well, like with Daisy's help,
Yeah. Well, I mean that now it's going over 2 turns though, so
yeah, but
that's
Peonia is like it's functioning as a draw supporter because or it's kind of like look at the top six cards of your deck, put three into your, or put, right, it's not your
Mhm.
deck, but it's your prizes, put three into your hand, and then put three back. And you
Yeah.
get like a lot of control over that. So then you can, well, next time you play Peonia, you can play a bunch of Peonia, and then you can get good value out of it again.
Yeah. I'm wondering now, have you played Daisy's Help in any deck, by the way?
No, I kind of forgot about it. It was
I
a mini set, and I forgot about it.
okay. It seemed like one of those cards you're singing the praises of, but I was thinking I don't think I've ever heard you mention it. So
No,
okay.
yeah.
So we look forward to that video coming out soon. I'm wondering with Peonia in a deck where you need to be able to access the Peonia later in the game, but what if if you get down to like 3 prizes about left, then knowing those prizes and where they are, all your prizes could be useful too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like in a Pidgeot EX deck where you can then pick out that Peonia late in the game when you don't need another support to help set up because at that you already have your Charizards and whatever going. Getting that one prize card could really be important.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting as well. I think prize like I don't know, I think Peonia is really interesting, and I don't think it's used that often outside of, as I said, like control. Um, I'm looking at this, and most of these decks are control or Mewtwo V Union decks.
Yeah.
This one's a Zoroark deck, but that's like obviously a prize-based deck. This one's a Lost Zone. I think like in Lost Zone, it could make sense, but it's mostly control, and it's or Zoroark
Right.
or Mewtwo V Union. Again, I found it some Urshifu and Talion, right? And Talion VMAX, as we said, can use it because you have this like very precise searching, so you can kind of
Hmm.
use it on a turn when you're not like doing a lot, but it can be. I think Peonia's underutilized.
Yeah. I mean, it lends itself towards decks that have some time and some patience, right?
Yeah, and I think it has a really high skill ceiling and a high
It
skill
does.
floor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can get not much value out of it if you're not using it wisely. Obviously, you're playing a V Union deck. It's very simple what you're trying to do with it, but in other decks, yeah, it's a little trickier. Probably lends itself maybe to single prize decks because you're giving up some turns. You can't be giving up multi-prize turn after turn and then try to think you're going to get the card from Peony and then come back with it.
Yeah, I think it could work with something like Mimikyu, like kind of
Hmm.
seeing behind that, or item
Yep.
lock with there
Yeah,
are a number of additional
like
combos.
Venomoth or something.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Okay. So Peonia is one. Yeah, that's rotating. Obviously, that is a meaningful card. That's not one that everybody's talking about. Certainly.
Yeah, I think it's an underrated card that we're losing. I don't think it's going to be absurdly impactful either. Um, but I think it's a moderately big deal. I'm happy with Hisuian Heavy Ball. Hisuian Heavy Ball is very
Yeah.
simple and it gets the job done for for many things, right? Honestly, the
Hmm.
most common thing you're scared of prizing is going to be your tech basic Pokemon like Manaphy, Jirachi, um,
Right.
your Durant, your Tatsugiris, those types of things.
Right, and that's the card you can get into play that turn and do something with it immediately. So yeah, so it's the most meaningful, but it's obviously simple to play, but obviously doesn't get you the other pieces like Peonia does. So
Yeah, and shuffles your prizes.
right, just keeps them. So after Peonia, you can look at your prizes with Daisy's help, but you don't get them. So is there any way to get prizes
Well, I'd
after
say
this
no. I'd say
rotates?
it's the other way. Oh, you're saying after it rotates. No,
Yeah.
I mean you can take them. You can take your prize cards.
No, yes,
So,
I mean, besides taking prizes, yes, I figured I didn't need to say that, but apparently I did. So,
let's see. I'm trying to think. What is Archrone?
and is that
Um,
staying in
yeah,
format? And I don't
Archrone.
even
Look
remember.
at the top card of your deck. You may switch it with one of your face down prizes. Oh wait, that's actually really good.
Okay,
I didn't think about that combo. That's really
with
interesting.
yeah, with Daisy's help.
Yeah. So, um, of course, then that's the top card of your deck, and so you don't actually have it, but it's pretty good. That's a pretty decent combo, allowing you to get whatever you want out of your prizes.
Right. The problem, what you really want then to complete things is like the Orangaroo that could switch a card from hand with the top card in your deck. So you can put a card, you have better control over it. You want more control over the top card in
Yeah,
deck
that
too.
would be useful. Oh, we have Mimikyu, which can just draw one.
Uh,
I mean, it
that's
doesn't just draw
true.
one. It pretty much just draws one, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that.
I'm glad we worked things out.
We've solved the meta. So, yep. So Peonia. Okay, and you have another card you wanna throw out there?
Yeah. So I'll talk about another really interesting. Actually, I'll do the rest of my cards. They're kind of related, but
Yep.
we're gonna talk about the goat mustard, single strike
Okay.
style mustard or rapid strike style mustard, which are the same as,
Yep.
um, they're essentially the same as Max's Hidden Ball Trick and Archie's Ace in the Hole. I don't remember if it's Archie's Ace in a Hole or the Hole. Um, it's the Hole. I wonder
It's the whole
what
yes.
hole they're talking about. Anyway, so
Hey,
we
hey.
have obviously they're interesting, right? So what they
Yeah.
do is you can play this only if it's last card in your hand, and you search your deck or discard depending on which one it is for a certain type of Pokemon. The single strike one gets a single strike Pokemon, and the rapid strike gets a rapid strike Pokemon,
Hmm.
and then you draw 5 cards. So big cost there, but then obviously it's it's big reward. They're all kind of different
Yes.
because obviously they get different Pokemon. But
Right.
they're all cool in my opinion. Because obviously you can either the combo heavy and they're funny, and I think they're really I don't know, I really like the card.
Hmm.
We haven't seen great partners. We saw Beedrill, which was good,
Right.
and then we also you can play with Arceus Duraludon. Um, I guess like that's
Yeah.
but it's not like that
You
good in Arceus
could.
Duraludon. I'm like looking through the decks and it's a lot of Arceus Duraludon, and then there's also Beedrill as well. And Beedrill's like fine, it's pretty good, but
Yeah, the B drill, the single straight B drill, which is stage two, single prize, and particularly the first attack, persist sting for one grass energy. If the opponent's active Pokemon has any special energy attached, it's knocked out. So that was, back right now, special energy is really down. So a card like
yeah.
B drill isn't worth the effort really. But back, for a while, everyone was running a lot of special energy, and it was a huge threat to put in decks.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's a really cool card. I like combo-y style decks.
Hmm.
And then in terms of Rapid Strike, I'll talk about the Rapid Strike card that's really interesting to me, and that's Jump Bluff. I mean, there are a bunch of interesting Rapid Strike cards, but Jump Bluff is really interesting here because it has Fluffy Barrage where it can attack twice, and this connects with some new cards, and notably the well, okay, so there's scrolls, which are give you extra attacks, and then technical machines, which also give you extra attacks. So you can use them
Right.
multiple times, or you can mix and
Hmm.
match. You can only have one tool, but you can like use your regular attack, which is 60, and then you can do like whatever, some big attack. So you got some really interesting options there. I think
Hmm.
the TM Crisis shot, I mentioned this to you, you do 280 twice. It's just,
Right, because just to make sure, so you attack twice. You don't get to do any plays in between. And that then means that the techno machine does not get discarded, right? Because your turn hasn't ended yet.
yes.
Okay, and that's obviously important because if it got discarded after the first attack, it would be a lot less useful.
Yeah. But I think it's pretty cool how they like how you can do that. I don't know how good it is, but I
Right.
tried
I
it. It
mean,
didn't really work. I think I said a card was glitched before the podcast. So during the podcast,
okay. Oh yeah, you
it's
said yeah. I remember. Yeah, you couldn't attack with it both times, right?
it I don't know, it like you couldn't switch attacks, which I wanted to do. It didn't actually have to, but I tried it and it didn't work. The second
Hmm.
deck didn't happen.
I just didn't do anything the second time. Okay. Um, yeah, obviously live has its issues, and this is not going to be top of their list. Because it's rotating soon. It doesn't see a ton of play, but I mean, obviously it should get addressed. The difficulty is like the TM Crisis Punch is very good. It's three energies though. So besides getting your stage two into play, which I mean you can be using the mustard. Again, pulling off mustard's hard. I don't know if that's how you were playing the deck or not.
Yeah, that was not what I was doing.
Okay, good because and you can't we had like Glare and Meowth and some which would discard two once per turn before, so that helps set up the mustards. It's fair. There's much less pieces to get the mustard to get it to empty out the rest of your cards in your hand. So mustards are harder now than they were a year ago to pull off, I think.
Yeah. Still fun though, like a fun thing to try. But then you have your last card as well, which is probably the best of the cards.
Okay. Yeah, and this is Ryhan, which is a supporter. Which again, you're playing single prize decks. Ryhan's really good. I even ran a Ryhan in my Arceus Duraludon deck. I noticed, so that's you only can get knocked out off once in that game sometimes. So you're not Raihaning very often there. But if your Pokemon was knocked out your last turn, accelerate a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, always good. But then also search your deck for any one card, put it into hand. So super, super, super good there, right? Anytime you search for any card you want, really good. Even for some of these decks where you're relying on like double turbos, as long as you have some special energy, I mean basic energies as well, it's a nice thing. Like with the Ditto box, there's times I'm using the Ryhan even though I don't have anything useful to attach the Ryhan the energy to, just because I need that search for one card, right? I need to get the DTE that turn, for instance, to pull off the attack, and it's just really good for any generally single prize deck where basic energy obviously you're getting knocked out. So it's a super powerful versatile card.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a card that like you can almost play in any deck. And even in like single prize decks, so you might not normally run ba
Hmm.
basic energy. You might put in basic energy
Right.
to add Raihan. Keep in mind that Raihan is kind of like teammates, right? Or yeah, teammates. If you're knocked out, last time you searched for two, but you only get one,
Right.
but you do get this acceleration. So it also enables combos that like you can't do. It's like the only, essentially, in my opinion, the only universal energy acceleration because it obviously accelerates to uh,
Right.
any type of basic energy, to any
Hmm.
Pokemon. It's really good. Obviously, you need to be knocked out, but it's really good, really
Right.
fun, and probably
Hmm.
what I think, in my opinion, it's the biggest loss to rotation. I don't know. It's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't played in a lot of the top decks much, but that's because the top decks rely on the big HP multi-prize Pokemon, especially in the VMAX era. There were a lot of VMAXs, and if you're giving up like three prizes per knockout, you only have one knockout before you lose the game, right?
Yeah,
So
but
you
you
only have
still
one.
could run like you could run Raihan and VMAX stacks. It's not like the
You
most
can.
I'm like looking at Limitless and a lot of it's like Lost Zone and Arceus, which obviously
Hmm.
aren't three prize decks. Like okay, so yeah, one
Yeah,
of the lists. So Ice Rider, right? You played Ice Rider. You play Melanie, obviously, but
that's
you
true.
might play one Raihan. Like any deck with an Inteleon, like Inteleon
Right.
Urshifu, pretty much any deck with Inteleon could
Hmm.
play it and get good value. But as it's mostly two prize or one prize decks, I
Right.
mean, there's so many decks here. Um, but like Ryhan's really good.
Yeah, it's yeah gonna miss it. It just it adds flexibility and it helps support. To me, part of it is it helps support those single prize decks, right? Because they're always struggling to up against the multi prize decks, and the EXs seem to help out the single prizes. But instead, when you have a 300 plus HP two prize Pokemon, it's awful tough to win with a single prize deck.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough.
The other card that I think Claire is a supporter. That's a big loss too.
Yeah, I think Claire's good. I don't know. I'm not like obviously the biggest fan of it. It's fine. Um,
I mean, you like the dark box back before,
but I didn't really love Claire, and
okay, you didn't like it, so
yeah,
okay,
I wasn't a massive fan of the Galarian Moltres, although it was okay. But I just rather like in that case Ordinary Rod, because that was in the format
hmm
Super Rod wasn't. I'd rather like Super or Ordinary Rod, and then just switch them
yeah,
out. And then still have your supporter, right? So you can like boss or whatever. Although I did see some value in Clara. Um, it's kind of good, but you need it's uncommon. Haha. No.
yes, very very
Um,
clever. I
it's
appreciate that.
it's
Yes,
uncommon
I was.
that that you'd need like multiple energy and multiple Pokemon. It's not like crazy uncommon, but like most decks don't need multiple energy back, right? At least not that turn.
That's true because you can't usually do something with them. Although of the cards we've talked about, Clara might have. I think it might have seen the most play in top decks.
Maybe I think less than a Ryhan. I don't know. I guess it sees more
Maybe
play in like Lost Zone. I don't know.
because you're looking at Limitless, right,
I'm
for
looking at
this.
regular Limitless. Yeah.
So let me call that up. So what do I do? I click on cards. What do you click on to get
Uh,
that? By the way.
yeah. Wait, to get what? I clicked on the card. So you have the card, and then there's like see decks it's in or whatever at the bottom.
Uh, at the bottom, I just want to okay, open all. Okay, I see. So yeah, okay, yeah.
There's
So just
a lot of decks there. So not necessarily the most useful thing in the world.
yeah, yeah. And how important it is in the deck, of course, is it doesn't tell you that either because
Yeah.
all cards are not equally important in every deck. So
Yeah, and also Limitless. This Limitless website has much less data than the Play Limitless website, although they're like related. But unfortunately, they
mhm.
don't have like Play Limitless data as readily available. Um, but I think there's one thing I want to turn to. I think we have a little bit of time, and I want to talk
Okay.
about some of the new cards revealed.
Hmm.
Which I don't think talked about too much. Oh no, we have. We've probably talked about them too much, but we haven't talked about all of them.
Yeah,
We talked about like Relicanth and stuff. I don't really remember which cards we've seen and haven't looked at.
right. Because
Um,
we have the information of all the cards that are coming in temporal forces now.
yeah, but so first of all, I think we talked about. Did we talk about Torterra? I need to look at this real quick.
Or Terra EX. All right, so let's see. So 340 HP evolves from Grottle, which has a new Grottle, but the old Grottle is probably better that searches for any evolution, grass evolution, right? I would
Yeah,
think. This probably has more HP at 120. I'm not sure what the other one is.
yeah, it does have more HP.
So you're attacking, let's see, for one energy, it does 30 damage for each grass Pokemon you have in play. So you have six in play. You're doing 180 for one energy. That's good. Oh, this is the deck. I think we talked about some because this is the deck that has another card that I'm sad with the rotating that it really wants, and that's Cheryl.
Yeah, I think Cheryl's could be good. So my question for you is, do you think, because obviously grass has been pretty terrible for the last
Forever for
yeah,
yeah,
for quite
a
some
while, a long
time.
time. Yeah.
And so do you think this card is gonna be good?
Well, I mean, obviously weakness is a huge deal too. So 30, 180 for one energy is good. Um, it's a stage two. You're going to play the other Grottle to evolve into. You're going to play the other Torterra probably too. But is that three energy or two?
It's two, but it's decent.
It because that gets good damage too, right? And you only give one prize off that. So That's not bad in the deck too. And then let's see, the other attack, 3 energy, does 150 and heals 50. Is that the question? Like that attack's almost as good as the other attack, right? It's 3 energy.
Yeah.
So
You probably need it with a
you're
neo
gonna
upper energy, right? Which is
that
2
provides
energy of any type
two
on a
energy,
stage 2.
right? Yeah, or yeah, you need some way to get the energy on. Hey, always have Fortress EX in format. Don't forget that.
That's true.
But the question is, like, if you're relying on Jungle Hammer, you're healing 50 per turn. You've got to survive 2 hits.
I
If
think
you
you're
only
relying
survive,
on Forced March, um,
and what's that do?
the first attack.
You think so?
And
Okay,
and then
so
you could Turo Scenario as well.
yeah, I mean, you could, and I guess if since you have the other Grottle, you're going to have some other stage ones in play. You're getting Pokemon in play constantly, so you can always slap down your stage 2 immediately and attack because you have to. One of the things you have to stream attacks, especially with this, you're not blowing up massive Pokemon with your damage, so you've got to be consistent, right? Turn after turn.
Of course, you mentioned weakness, and it is a good type. Being good against, well, I don't know if it's actually good against Roaring Moon, but it's certainly good against Charizard. You're not really dying to
Yeah.
them, and you're one-shotting them back. So that's really good.
Well, if you have a full,
Well, that's not
uh,
that hard to do.
I get it, but if you don't, then you're not one-shotting them.
That's true.
So, you are weak to fire, and fire traditionally isn't not a, that's always been one of Grass's problems too. There's been enough fire
Well, I think
around, and
fire's like on and off. Like sometimes it's really good. Well, it was really good with Welder, right? You started playing when
Mhm.
Welder was a big thing.
Yes,
Um,
it hasn't
aside
been
from
as
Welder,
good.
hasn't been that good. Like, I mean, right
People
now
like
fire isn't that good. I mean, well, okay, there's Charizard, but that's like not really fire.
right.
Um,
People like fire though. They do, and people like Entei, and part of why they like
no, you
Entei
like
is because
Entei.
other people. Hey, I've heard Andrew Mahone talk to people and how he talks about how people that tune into him like Entei as well and
Well,
want it to work.
who's Aaron Mahone to
So
say that?
what does he know about what
Yeah,
people want,
exactly,
right?
exactly. No,
So he thinks there's a people like Entei. They do. I think they're correct. And at Liverpool there were 2 Arceus boxes that both played Dragon Pokemon. By the way, they're not the Dragon Pokemon that are any good. I mean,
Rayquaza.
Dragon, no, V Stars. Sorry. Oh yeah, the one
Oh,
played
Dragonite
Rayquaza,
V-Star.
Dragonite V Star, and the other was Rayquaza VMAX. Sorry, yes, and they both did pretty well. Now the Rayquaza one was essentially a firebox. That's why I bring this up. It was a firebox with Arceus and Rayquaza.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a little odd. It was a bunch of pieces put together, but which had grass attackers, right? So I mean fire attackers. So fire attackers, you just can't afford as a stage 2. You can't be one shot. If you're one shot, you don't have a chance, right?
Yeah. But anyway, I think, well, I don't know. Like Charizard can get one shot, but
Not easily. If Charger's getting one shot, it's
well, no,
not
this
winning,
also isn't
right?
getting one shot, right? Like this is getting one
Yeah,
shot
no,
less
you're
than
right. As
Charizard.
long as it's not as long as fire is not big, is it doing enough damage for all the work to get stage 2s in play? I'm not sure about that, right?
Yeah, you're a hater. You're a hater.
Uh, I'm just concerned. I am a concerned citizen.
Okay, and then
So,
I also want to look at Shaman, the one right below it, which does
yep.
pinpoint dive, 60 snipe to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon EX or Pokemon V.
Mm.
Yeah, for one grass, which is kind of interesting. Makes me think of like a Luminous box. But do you think that could be like a thing or not?
I mean, I'm not. The fact that it's limited to those types of Pokemon isn't great. I gotta say, because if it didn't even have that restriction,
Well, then it
it's
would be pretty
questionable.
good. It's probably like
It would
taking
be, but it's still
KOs.
not. It's not broken. Then, though, is
No,
my
I don't
point.
think so. I think this
I'm
is
still not sure I'm playing it, even if it doesn't have the restriction. But I'm considering it seriously. Then, with this restriction, I mean, you can finish something off on the bench. That's what it's there for, right?
mhm.
In a grass deck. So if grass is decent, so I guess does it go in the same deck? I guess this is after you hit him twice with your Torterra, your stage 2, and you still haven't taken a knockout yet. Your Shaman finishes them off on the third turn.
um yeah, or yeah, something like that, finishing him off. Which I think is interesting. I think it's actually like though you're making it seem like it's really bad.
I'm just not because it's only finished in things off or loose softening them up, right? Or I just did cast form, so it's just like the old the grass, the rowlet, right? You do 60 damage to the bench, and then the next turn, if there's something that then you have something that multiplies the damage on it, boom, you take your knockout.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Maybe that's what we're doing with it.
yeah, yeah. That could be. I don't know. That doesn't seem good. That seems pretty bad. But
I, I don't know. It needs a good grass deck, and this could fit in it, right? It's kind of like saying I like Screamtail in the psychic deck. What do you call it? You know what I'm talking about.
Gardevoir.
Gardevoir EX, right? But Screamtail's good, but without Gardevoir, Screamtail isn't much of anything. So is there you need a good grass deck, and this can be a piece to go into it. Right now, there's not a good grass deck.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was thinking like a Luminous Energy box deck with like Mimikyu and some stuff.
So now you think because one of the decks I liked was a Luminous V box, right, with the Luminous and a bunch of Vs, which we're losing some of, right?
Well, I think that
In that
revolved around Melanie, right?
it could, yes,
Which
it
we're
could.
losing, obviously.
We are, and part of that then you'd have like the Suicune V as well as an option that you're losing. So that's going away is my point. But those they did decent damage, right? They did a lot more damage than 60. So what other? Because is this a single prize Luminous box?
Yeah, yeah,
And
something like that.
what's it working with? It's an interesting thought. I mean, it's
I don't know. I haven't
intriguing.
really thought about it too much.
Okay,
Yeah. And anyway, I think that's. Do you think that's it for
enough
today's
about that.
episode?
Yeah, I don't. Is there any other Pokemon you want to hit on quickly or
There's
no?
some more cards, but I don't think we need to talk
We
about
can
them in
wrap it
today's
up. So
episode. Because you
yeah,
also haven't thought about them. But
no,
yeah, I think ending early is good. Because we always talk too long. So,
yeah. Hey, let me say
oh yeah, something
just
else.
just look. It's rotations coming up. We got what 6 weeks or something like that. So think about the things you're going to miss. Some of them are the Pokemon you're going to lose, but also the trainers you're going to lose, and just play those decks now while you can and enjoy it. Right. That's rotation is part of the game. It's something to be embraced, and enjoy the pieces you have today while you have them.
Wow, so inspiring. Subscribe.
Well, you're rough. All right. All right.
No,
Well,
no,
we'll say it's because
it's
you're not
true. It's
feeling good.
true. But um, yeah, we hope you enjoy the podcast. As I said, subscribe. No, check out our channels and the podcast on Spotify and other things. I don't, there are lots
Yep.
of platforms. But yeah, 10 types of uncommon fossil on YouTube though, and that's the best place to get in contact with us, or Discord, which is I think linked. I have a Discord on my channel linked. It's kind of hard to find. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed. Um, and yeah, next week we'll be talking about something. We haven't decided that yet. But we hope you
If you
enjoyed.
have ideas, by
Oh
the way,
yes.
for podcast topics, let us know in the comments too.
Yes, that would be good. We're excited to see you in the next episode as well.
Take care.